My name is Barry Allen. And I am the fastest man alive.
Listen to me. There's a war coming. A terrible war.
You have failed this city.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Fandom Zone podcast. I'm Charles Skaggs, and with me, as always, is the ever incredible and often distracting Karen Lindsay. Hi, Karen.
Well, hello, Charles.
How are you today?
I'm fine. You know my little Flash figurine that I'm showing you right
I
now?
want that so bad. I've been looking for one.
Yeah, I got it when we saw Age of Ultron
Ah,
the other day.
I've been looking for it. Where did you find it?
It was at a little store in the mall.
Okay.
I
Wasn't like a
can't remember
Barnes
the
and Noble or anything? Or?
No, it was just a little it had a lot of anime and manga stuff in
Okay.
it.
Okay.
He's actually got little wings on his shoes. Did you see?
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Yeah,
that
they even put that
quite
detail
a
in.
lot of
Yeah,
detail.
yeah.
Very cool. It's the what are these called again? I can't
Funko.
remember.
The
Funko. The
Yeah.
Funko thing. Yeah, I thought it was funny that I went to see the Marvel movie
Mm-hmm. And they had
and it had all the Marvel
yeah,
Funko
yeah,
figures, and
right.
I was like, no, I want Flash. Sorry, I want
I'm
Flash.
looking for that one, so I got to check that down.
Yeah,
I need to add it to the Flash Museum that I've got down here.
yeah, I
I
got
have
that.
lots of stuff.
Well, I wanted an Orphan Black one, but they didn't have those. All they had was the
Yeah,
superhero one.
I've seen those. They look very cool. I kind of want the Allison one.
I want the Rachel with the pencil in her eye.
Oh, I didn't know there was a Rachel with pencil.
Yeah,
Right.
there is.
That's awesome.
I want that one a
That's
lot.
That's pretty cool.
As much as I hate Rachel, that one is awesome. So anyway,
Well, it's great because she's getting a pencil shoved in her eye, so you got to go with that. You
exactly.
got to love that. All right.
And I'll even put one of my eye patches on it.
Nice. All right. So
So
I guess we should talk about the lots of shows.
Yep, episode 8 of the Fandom Zone. So welcome everyone. And we're going to talk about, here's the rundown: Daredevil, episode 5, World on Fire; Gotham, the season finale, episode 22, All Happy Families Are Alike; The Flash, 121, God Lives; iZombie, 108, Dead Air; Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, 220, Scars; and Arrow, 322, This Is Your Sword. In that order.
Oh, you're gonna change up the order on me.
No, that's the order.
Normally we save Daredevil for the end.
Yeah, I want to talk about Daredevil first. Is that okay?
That's cool. I'm cool with
Okay.
I'm cool with free shuffling.
Okay, good, because I like this Daredevil.
Okay.
So let's go for
Let
that
me
one
just
first.
flip to page 2 on my notes. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So let's talk about Daredevil World on Fire, the 5th episode. And I desperately want to watch the next episode. So
Oh, you haven't seen episode 6 yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
again, I'm not watching it until we talk about it. So
you get that has to be killing you.
It is. It really is.
Oh, I need to see it.
Especially this one, because at the end he is getting fingered by the cops. So
hey now.
I know. So I really want to see what happens next.
Yep.
But in this episode, World on Fire, a few things are happening, and it's very busy, but it doesn't seem like it.
Right.
Which is the mark of a good show, in my opinion. First of all, we have Daredevil and his lovely Moneypenny, as it were.
Karen Page.
No, not Karen Page. His personal chickie baby.
Oh.
She's played by Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, the night nurse.
Correct.
Unofficially night nurse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Claire Temple.
Right. I tend to think of Karen as his sidekicks, Moneypenny. Essentially,
Oh, you mean
they're
the
pairs.
gotcha.
Foggies.
So Karen is Foggy's Moneypenny.
Right.
Got it.
Right. They're like pairs, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So Rosario is in trouble. You know, she's hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and she's waking up at his place, and he has put her in danger. He wants her to stay there, and there's a little hanky panky happening that morning, right?
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. Now,
a little smoochy.
a little smoochy, and it was a hot smoochy.
Yeah.
It was a hot one, and
It was an episode on fire.
that's right, world on fire, big time. I liked how they discussed how intuitive he is
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that he could like tell that one of her cuts had opened on her back, and how he described things that he could tell that her rib was just hairline fractured and not broken. And that it sounded like an old boat.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's so descriptive. And that he could smell copper or taste copper in the air, and that's how he could tell that her wound had opened back up. And so they got into a discussion of how he could see without seeing.
Right.
And then, at some point she asked him, well, what do you see? And that's where the title of the episode came from,
Yes.
World on Fire. And we got to actually see that in this episode, that kind of garbledy, reddish, orangey, literal world on fire that he sees all the time. And I can't imagine seeing that all the time. Coming from my perspective, and if you've listened to me at all, you know that I have an issue with one of my eyes. Mine is like static, like static on a TV in my right eye. And it really, I really can't see it. It's just like a little place that's blurred out in my eye. If I close my eye and look, like what Charles is seeing right now,
Right.
I see static. If I close the eye that I can see out of and look through my other eye, I can see here. And in the middle, it's like this.
And for those of you who can't see you, that's your right eye.
Correct. My right eye is bad.
Right.
If I open my eye, though, I can see like normal, except I have a little
fuzzy
blind spot that I don't notice really until I go to read something or whatever. And it's troublesome, but I'm getting used to it. Now, if I had to live with like a red vision all the time,
yeah, you think that would just drive you crazy?
It would make me insane.
Now, I did like this is basically like our first real in-depth examination of his radar sense.
Yes.
Now,
I mean, we've got little flashes of it.
Right, and it's the way they depict it is definitely different from how they depicted it in the 2003 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was much more sonar bouncing back.
Right.
Imagery.
Yeah, he put his hand on her back.
Yeah.
And you could kind of hear.
Yeah, this is almost like a thermal, thermal vision,
right,
in a sense that
like a vibration.
Yeah.
Feeling
like when you can detect like people inside a building using like their thermal imaging.
Right.
So
yeah, that's a good analogy.
Thank you.
Good,
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I thought that was very interesting. Also, another thing I found interesting was when he said, "May I?" when he went to pull down her robe, and she still held it so that he couldn't see her boobs. Hello?
Yeah.
You can walk around naked.
Right. You still got to get the outline.
And?
Yeah. Yep. You can't like traditionally see you.
Right.
Right.
He can still kind of see her either way.
Yeah.
Right? In the robe and clothes and nothing.
Yeah.
It's almost the same thing. essentially,
Pretty
unless
much.
she's wearing a big fur coat.
Right, exactly. She would have to change the outline of her body.
Right, drastically.
Yes.
So just pulling it down. Well, anyway, I was just like, okay,
Or was that what she wanted to do?
you know what that says to me is that he sees so well
Right.
that she doesn't even think twice, that she that it's just an instinct to her not to show him
Right.
her body,
Yeah.
that she just thinks of him as seeing. Now later in the episode, the cop, who's a bad cop,
Yeah.
he drops his phone, and Matt picks it up and takes it with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, well, why doesn't he check the text?
Because he can't read text
That's
on a phone.
me
Yeah.
doing that.
Right.
And yeah, I get that he can't check the text on a phone now.
But then...
And also in the episode when he says, well, I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, oh, right, because he can't see.
Remember, he has to have a special phone.
Yes, I get
That
it.
says foggy, foggy, foggy.
Yes, I get it. But even I thought for a minute, oh, right.
Because you're so used to him walking around like he can see.
Right.
You're like, why didn't he just look at the phone?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I kind of get it now why she would hold it over her body. Plus the fact that it's, Netflix.
Yeah. Well,
and
you can show that on Netflix.
Yes, but they don't want that rating for this show.
No, for this show. I can't see Marvel showing it.
Right.
I think it's more Marvel than Netflix.
Well, whoever they.
Because they show it, Netflix shows it on House of Cards.
Yes, but I'm talking about this show in particular.
Right.
They don't want that rating for this show.
No, they don't.
So that's why they didn't do it.
It's very PG-13.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was that storyline with Matt and Rosario Dawson's character, and there was a later on in the episode when he realized that she was in danger because of him, when he kind of pushed her away, and that made me sad. But still, he's keeping her under his roof.
Yeah. So
that's a good thing. Now, as for the other part of his storyline, he's getting set up.
Yeah.
Through the whole episode. When Kingpin kills Mr. Russian guy.
Anatoly.
As we talked about last episode. Thank you. Can you supply the names for me? Because I am so not good with names.
That's why I got the notes.
Thank you. Just
covered.
So you guys know, my short-term memory is horrible. So I'll just let Charles supply the names.
Just say Russian guy. I don't have them all, but I've got a good chunk of them.
Okay, awesome. So Russian guy with the no head.
Yeah.
Anatoly. When he shuts Anatoly's head in the car, as we learned last week, which was
again and again.
Right.
Yeah.
When they bring his body back in with Kingpin's side guy in there, who knows exactly who killed him, by the way. What a nice, he is so deadpan, right?
Right. That's a loyal assistant right there.
Big time loyal assistant.
Better get a good gift for Christmas. That's all I'm saying.
Plus, I think he's there on purpose, waiting for them to bring him in so that he can back up that story that it's the guy in the mask, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, because it makes it sound more credible. It's
right.
Like, oh, yeah, I was witness to the whole thing, even though I work for the Kingpin.
That guy in the mask.
Yeah, he was brutal.
So they pull out the mask.
A replica.
Well, yeah.
Because they don't have his original mask because he kept it.
Right. And out of Anatoly's clothes. Yeah. Now, why he would leave the mask
tucked in the shirt
into his clothes?
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Yeah.
He wouldn't. But the Russian brother.
He's a hothead. The Vladimir.
Thank you, Vladimir. He is not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed.
No.
So immediately he jumps to the conclusion that it's the man in the mask, right?
Yeah. Just like, he killed my brother.
Prepare to die.
Yeah, you killed my brother, prepare to die.
Right. So immediately it's the vendetta. Let's go find him.
Yep.
Okay. So, and Wesley is, of course, there to back up this story. Oh, it definitely was the man in the mask.
Right.
Definitely was the man. It cannot be my boss. I mean, he doesn't say that, but
Oh, come on, look at him. He's such a cute little huggy, fuzzy little fuzzball. He's
right.
harmless and perfect and
Right.
yeah.
And of course, he's there before they bring in the body to cement the fact that, oh, yes, we made a lovely deal with your brother, and he was so happy to take us up on it. And
Yep.
oh, I just don't know where he could be. Have you called him? So yeah, he's such a good liar.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, he knows where he is. What's he doing there? Oh, I get it.
Well, to be fair, working for the Kingpin, he's probably had lots of practice.
Yes, I'm assuming.
One would think. Anyway.
Right. So. Sorry, coffee sip. Yeah, thank you.
Damn good coffee.
So they go through the whole episode with Vladimir looking for the man in the mask and his dudes.
Right.
And then a little over halfway through the episode, he gets the tip off from a guy, and I don't know who this guy is.
Turk.
Who does he work for?
Himself.
Is he just a freelancer?
Yeah,
okay.
He works for himself. He's basically like, if you remember the Frank Miller Daredevil comics,
Mm-hmm.
Turk was this guy that went around like Hell's Kitchen, and he was always involved in shady deals. Like he was a minor player, but he was always getting involved in whatever crime Daredevil was investigating at the time. Like if Daredevil needed information, he would go to Josie's bar and beat up Turk for info or something like that.
See.
Yeah. So that's why they're using Turk in the show.
So he was always the plot point tool.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good so
description. Turk goes to Vladimir and he says, "Hey, dude, I just wanted to let you know this SUV came into the shop.
Right. My boy.
And it had all this blood on the back seat and also brains."
Mm-hmm. Brains. Sorry.
And it was registered to Kingpin.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. And Vladimir is like, "No, that means the man in the mask is working for Kingpin." Oh.
Well, he is like, it was almost there. He reached out and, yeah, that's a big Price is Right fail. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but still he's zeroed in on the right person.
Yeah.
And he does aim at Kingpin at least.
So close.
Yes. So he says $1 million for anyone who could tell me.
$1 million. $1
million for anyone who could tell me where Kingpin is. Now, mind you, in the case of Austin Powers, that's not a lot of money. But $1 million in Hell's Kitchen, people are going to take him up on that offer.
I would think.
Right. So, Turk is like, hell yes, I'll take him up on that offer.
Yeah.
So, they're going to go and find him for him. And this is, of course, part of the plan.
Right.
Right.
Because Turk doesn't take the money, does he?
No, he does not. He leads them to this warehouse.
Yep.
Where a guy walks in and kamikazes and blows up the thing. And
suicide
Russians are out of the way.
Suicide bomber.
That's right.
Yep.
So that was Kingpin's plan all along, was to get rid of the Russians.
Yep.
Take out one of the players in the game. And now he's only got 2 partners.
Yep.
And so it's only split 3 ways. Yep. And that was another discussion with Kingpin and his 2 partners, is
he still has the Japanese like ninja guys.
Okay, so the ninja guys.
The Hand, but
oh well, yeah.
That's
so the ninja guys and the Asian woman.
Right. She's Chinese. I think the guy is Japanese. She's Chinese.
Okay, and then the old
Madame Gao, and then Leland Owsley, the owl.
Okay. So split 4 ways.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. At this point, 4 ways. That's all
Okay.
I'm saying.
So there was that too. And then, of course, Kingpin has another date
Right.
with his lovely lady from the gallery. Now, Vanessa. So she's reluctant, but she still shows up. And she says, I've been burned in the past, so I want honesty. And to be fair, he doesn't say, yes, I'm not going to burn you.
Right.
He says, you can ask me whatever you want, and I'll be honest with you.
Now, she brings a gun to their second date.
Right. In her purse, she has a 22. But that doesn't come up till later. He knows she has a gun, but he doesn't say anything about it.
He's cool about it.
Right. And he says, if you want to stay, you can stay. And she says, well, what if I go? Well, then I'll eat alone.
Okay. Yeah, he does give her the out to his credit.
Right. And I think he truly does like Vanessa.
Right.
And I think he really would have let her leave.
Oh, he's crushing on her big time.
Big time. Yeah. I don't think there would have been retribution in this case. I really don't. Not at this point.
No, not unless she did something really, like, bitchy.
Right.
Which she doesn't.
I think he would have gone after her.
Yeah, he's not, like, stalker obsessed. I don't think.
No, I think he would have tried again.
Yeah, he just would have been like, well, she would have been, maybe she would have been like, I need more time. Or like, well, I'll call you.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't call us.
Yep.
So she decides she's going to stay. She says, well, I do have a question for you then. What kind of wine are we having? Are you showing me Flash again?
No, that's someone else.
Professor Zoom?
No.
Who?
That's Firestorm.
Oh, it's Firestorm.
Yeah.
Well, you did it fast. I couldn't see. I just saw a flash of something. Get it? A flash of something. Okay, so they have their dinner and she's asking him questions and he's answering and they're all cagey about stuff. And finally he asks her, so what kind of gun do you have in your purse? And she answers, I have a 22.
Is that a gun in your purse or are you just happy to see me?
Exactly. I knew you were going to make that joke.
It's kind of obvious.
And they have a conversation and she says, well, I would be stupid not to bring a gun because no matter what you say, because he implied earlier that he was trying to clean up the city, which is, I think, what he tells himself. And it's clear from how he says it that is what he tells himself, that he's trying to clean up the city, make it a better place.
That's the way he rationalizes all the horrible things he does.
Right. But I think he just wants to make it a better place for himself.
Yeah. His vision.
Right.
The way he wants everything. So it's more like a control freak thing. Like, I want things the way I want them, no matter what.
And that would make it good.
Yeah.
For me.
Right.
Right.
As long as I'm happy, you're happy.
The city's good. Yeah. Right. So she says, I would be silly not to bring a gun because no matter what you say, I do know what you do. And he says, he kind of says, okay, well, the way I do things might be bad, but it's because my vision sometimes does not allow me to always be good.
Right.
So they have this weird conversation and she ends up kind of being okay with what he does. And then right at the end of their date is when this explosion happens across town and it's huge.
Several explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The explosion in the warehouse and a couple other, and big time. And they're basking in the glow of, which is twisted.
Just having a nice finishing off their the bottle of wine or whatever they're drinking, champagne. I'm not sure which. But the Vanessa, a normal woman, would presumably be horrified by all this and go head for the hills.
Right. But no, not so much.
Not Vanessa. Vanessa's like, as long as you're going to protect me, I can get used to this. I'm pretty cool with this.
Right.
I'm
Right.
kind of good with my little mafia sugar daddy.
Right. And I think one of the things he says is, as long as you're here with me, you're safe. You don't need that gun.
Right.
And I think that's part of the thing that lures her in.
Maybe, yeah, just maybe she's got a little bit of insecurity hidden somewhere, and she wants somebody to protect her. And she feels
Right.
Wilson Fisk will do that for her.
Maybe a bit of a daddy complex or something.
Could be. Could be daddy
Mhm.
complex. Could be.
Could be. And, she wants that sugar daddy too, I think.
Yeah.
She sees that money and what it does and the grand
Or is it the
gesture.
money or the power?
Both.
She's attracted to both. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things she said is you didn't have to do the grand gesture, but I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a lot of that.
You gotta admit, he knows how to impress a girl on a first date.
He sure does.
As long as it's the right girl.
Yeah. Now, Ray Palmer tried this a couple episodes ago in the Arrow, and it didn't really go over the same way, clearing out a restaurant.
Well, he didn't blow stuff up. And
no, that's
kill
true.
people
Although,
yeah.
I don't know that would have gone over the same way either. But no, not so much. He did blow stuff up in this week's episode, though, so we'll talk about that later. So there was that, and as we talk about the other storyline now, and then the ending, which is Matt getting caught, everything ends with the explosion. Everything.
Right.
So everything culminates in this explosion.
All roads lead to the explosion.
Correct. They all dovetail nicely right into this big explosion. The other major storyline is Foggy and Karen get a client.
Yay.
Oddly enough, since they are a law
Lawyers
firm.
get clients. Go figure.
That's right. And it is the
their first non-gangster client.
Well, is Tully a gangster though?
Well,
I think he might be.
Yeah.
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 So it is kind of a gangster client. Well, Tully is a slumlord at the very least.
Right.
And he owns this building, and one of the tenants in the building is referred to their law firm, and she has gotten repairs, and I put that in quotes, but they were not finished.
Mm-hmm.
And what has happened is, and it's a trope, I hate to say it, but it's been used in many shows, and it's also true.
Right.
It's happened in real life too, in New York.
In poor neighborhoods, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. When these slumlords want to turn old apartments that are in neighborhoods that are being gentrified, when they want to turn those into condos, they pretty much try to force the old tenants out. And that, these old tenants are rent controlled, so they can't be bought out or get taken out by their leases. They have to pretty much be forced out. So in this case, what they were doing is starting to do repairs and then saying, oh, well, it's a horrible neighborhood. We can't stay in the neighborhood to do these repairs. We're scared of the neighborhood. And, this was an old lady.
Right.
They weren't really being scared of the old lady.
And Elena is adorable.
Yeah. Oh, I love her.
She's like, oh, Mr. Foggy, you fixed my faucet. Why don't you stay for dinner? And
Yes.
your pretty girlfriend there. You have your day.
You bring me cigars.
Yeah. No, he brings.
I know it was another neighbor.
The cop's mother, but
yeah,
at the stage.
I just thought it was funny. She said something about cigars, which was, I guess, referring to the woman who referred.
I just like when she says, Mr. Foggy.
Mr. Foggy, you stay, you eat. And what she really did is set them up together in the living room. So, she brings them this case, and it's, this slumlord is trying to force us out. Mm-hmm. And Foggy takes the case because, of course, they're the underdog. Yeah. They want to go for the underdog.
These are the kind of people that Matt and Foggy wanted to help when they left law school, graduated from law school.
Exactly. And that's why they turned down the job at the big law firm, which, of course, comes into play in this episode because that's the law firm they go up against, and it's Foggy's ex,
Mm-hmm.
who is a very buxom blonde, and she tries to intimidate Foggy, and Foggy ain't having it.
Yep.
Foggy says, "Look, we got you dead to rights on this one, so I'd be happy to go up against you in court, and I really am not getting intimidated by you, so there."
Yeah.
And he turns on his heel and walks out, and Karen is pretty turned on by this.
Pretty much, because you would think that being reacquainted with his old girlfriend, Marcy, Foggy would be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
But
he is so not.
no, he's like, look, listen, like I'm more than happy to take you to court. You guys can just sit and spin for all I care.
Yep, no settling.
Yep. So
No,
see you later.
right.
Drops the mic, walks out.
That's right. And Karen is all like,
Hey now,
"Oh, Foggy,
Yep. Mr. Foggy.
Mr. Foggy, let me see your mic." So, yeah, that was a really great scene, I thought, where Foggy just manned up.
Yeah, he did.
And they go to see her at the apartment, and of course they find just the worst conditions. The lights aren't working, the water's not working.
Holes in the wall, like
It's
big
just terrible.
holes in the wall. Yeah.
And Foggy can't leave her like that, so they decide they're going to fix what they can.
Yeah, and since he used to work in a hardware store,
and cousin does this,
so
and
whatever.
the brother does that, and
Yep.
So they at least get her water working, and I think they might have done a couple more things, but they show the water working.
Right.
And that causes her, Rosalia, to, bring some food and set them down, and really it's just an excuse to get Foggy and Karen to eat some dinner, and she walks away.
Yeah.
And here, have some dinner.
But then when it happens though, to that, I mean, they go through all the trouble for getting the water running, and then the building gets blown up.
Boom.
Not entirely blown up, but it causes
a good portion
of it. And there's like, Elena's injured, and so yeah, not good.
Yeah,
not good.
And of course, that's because this story dovetails at the ending with the explosions, and the last thing we see of that story is people being hurt on the ground, crawling around, and Foggy and Karen, of course, their dinner ending in disaster.
Not a good first date ending.
No, although I wouldn't consider this their first date. I think the pub crawl might have been their first date.
Well, but they considered it the first date.
I think so too.
Yeah, so that was more of the like, okay, we're gonna test the waters.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
yeah.
And now it's like Karen's all turned on, like, yeah, this is our first date.
Yeah. So there's that. And then the ending of Matt's story is him being kind of lured to the warehouse.
Right.
Where all this other stuff is happening with the Russians and the blind Asian guy, which I thought was interesting that it was a blind Asian guy who brings the kamikaze bomb thing.
Right. Because Madame Gao's got these like, workers like doing all these, drugs and everything, putting that together, heroin or something. And but they're
all the blind people.
They've all been blinded, and so they can't witness everything that's going on and testify, presumably.
Right.
So yeah, one of those guys is tapped as one of the suicide bomber.
Yep. So he gets let in, and he's got his finger on a little
trigger,
like a
trigger,
a kill button.
Yeah, kill switch.
Right, and he lets it go, and Matt's right outside, and the cops have been alerted, I'm assuming, because I'm sure Kingpin has set this whole thing up.
They were there pretty quick for New York cops.
I'm really assuming that they have been alerted.
They were right around the corner.
Right. Or Kingpin alerted his cop in hiding.
Yeah, because just as like Daredevil or pre-Daredevil is like, going after Vladimir, and he tracks him down. He's just wailing on him, boom, boom, boom. And of course, that's the exact moment when the cops show up.
Get on the ground.
That's not at all convenient.
Right, and then
cliffhanger. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the episode ends, and that's
Cliffhanger.
when I wanted to go straight to the next episode, and I was like, no.
It was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
what do you give this episode?
I give this one 9 out of 10 pre-Daredevil masks.
Nice.
Thank you.
I give it 8 hints of copper.
Very nice.
So,
yeah, I
nice.
really enjoyed this episode quite a bit.
And I was just getting some blood work done last week, and they gave me saline,
Yeah.
and that's the taste I get in my mouth when they give me saline.
It was
Is
salty.
that little hint of copper.
Well, it's salty. It's
Yeah, but it tastes like copper to me.
Oh, really? Because
For some reason.
every time I get saline, like for being dehydrated or whatever, it tastes just salty to me because it's saline.
I don't know why it tastes coppery to me. Maybe because they put it in my blood, so I get the blood
Could be.
in there too.
Yeah.
So I go, nah. And they go, oh, yeah, we put saline in there. And I'm like, oh, right.
Saline with a hint of type, was it O or?
It's A positive.
A positive.
Yes.
See, mine would have been like saline with a type AB positive.
Oh, okay.
So
I think I'm A positive.
Yeah.
We're compatible.
There you go. I'm like the universal donor, I think.
Yes, I think so.
AB positive. If I have my thing.
You can't donate to O's.
No.
So you're not universal.
Okay, but
O's universal.
But I can donate to A's and B's.
Correct.
Got it.
Positives.
Positives, yes, right.
Not
Important,
negatives.
right.
My husband is not compatible with me. He's a B negative. He's completely not compatible.
Got it.
Blood-wise. But opposites attract.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Gotham.
Gotham.
It was the season finale. All happy families are alike.
Okay. For whatever that means to the story, because
right, I had no idea.
I didn't know. I had no idea how that associated with the story.
Nope.
At all.
And I thought the name was really cumbersome anyway.
Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah, this episode was written by Bruno Heller, the showrunner.
The show creator, yeah.
And then also directed by Danny Cannon, who is executive producer, and he also directed the pilot.
Right.
So of the first season.
So it was a nice bookend, I guess.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like they started.
And I have to say,
and then they ended it the season.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
It seemed like a setup for next season.
Mm-hmm.
In most regards.
As it should, because you wanted people to come back.
Right. And it almost had no cliffhanger.
Yeah. It kind of just ended. I mean, there was a cliffhanger with the cave that we'll get into.
But again,
it wasn't a strong. It wasn't a strong cliffhanger.
It could have just ended though. I mean, I wouldn't be like dangling. I would be like, oh, okay, it's the Batcave. Big deal. I mean, we know where that goes.
Maybe they weren't sure they were going to get renewed and just wrote it ambiguously, so it could have been like if they didn't get picked up, at least it had sort of an ending.
Right.
But in this,
we can blow through this if you want. This one.
That's good. We need to catch up anyway.
So, Fish comes back to town.
Yep.
She decides to take
coming back to Gotham City.
She takes Selena under her wing.
Yep.
Because when she rises out of the water like a Valkyrie.
Shouldn't that be under her flipper or something?
Yes.
Being a fish.
Well, I'm surprised that she decides to take Selena under her flipper because, Catwoman might.
Cats and fish, you wouldn't think would get.
No, they don't get along very well. Yeah. But, she takes a liking to her for some reason, and they bond a little bit in this episode. But, they go on a little mayhem in town. Penguins
get new hairdos.
They do get new hairdos, and Fish does a little scalp bedazzling.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but
I don't either.
Maybe
it's weird.
Maybe something with her, like when she had her eye replaced, that it really messed up. Like, oh yeah, I look good.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. So they have a little thing happening where she wants to take the town back. Penguin did some maneuvering.
As he does.
And that was something that I had speculated. Well, why why did he hire this dude, this Connor dude?
Yeah, he had a long range plan.
He had a plan.
Yep, and he executed the plan.
He did. He wanted them to fight, and he was there, ready to go.
Mhm.
And this kind of set him up to be the Penguin.
I'm the king of Gotham. Yeah.
So the setup was there for the Penguin. Ed, Kristen went to see Ed and said, "You know the funny thing about this note? If you read down the side, it says Nigma." Oh, that that's a coincidence. That's a coincidence, right?
How could that be? What a strange coinkydink.
How could that be?
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, after she leaves, after he tries to like blow off it, like, oh, it's a perfect coincidence, and as soon as she leaves the room, he goes total schizo.
Yeah, I did. I loved that sequence because it was very choppy.
Yeah.
And my friend Tim,
Mhm.
who I do Gotham Underground with, he did a really great comparison to a Jacob's Ladder sequence, the movie Jacob's Ladder.
Which I have not seen, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay. It's very much like that movie. Quick cuts.
Okay.
Blurry kind of.
Yeah, like chaotic. Yeah.
And I said it was kind of like the opening to Seven.
Okay, I get that reference. No, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
No, I love Seven, so yeah.
It was kind of a cross between those two.
Yes.
You know, the opening to Seven where everything is like jittery and
shaky cam.
You know, right.
Yeah.
But quick cuts and very spooky looking.
Because essentially we have like Edward, kind of his personality just fragments at this point. Because he starts.
This is him tipping over.
Yeah, he's on one hand he's like fearful that she's going to figure out what's going on, but then on the other hand he gets really manic and like ha 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 ha, you know, like presumably his Riddler personality starts
storming out,
coming to the forefront.
Right. So yeah, I loved that scene because that is totally Riddler. That is what I think of when I think of the Riddler. Is that
it's very promising for the second season,
especially where he's concerned.
Right, because I've been wanting more of Edward Nygma, because the Riddler is one of my favorites. So I'm just like,
me too.
Bring it on.
And that actor's amazing.
Yeah,
I think
Corey Michael Smith. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great. So Falcone is hospitalized. I skipped over this part, but he's hospitalized. Oswald and Butch go to see him. But of course, Detective
Bullock,
yes, and Gordon.
Yep.
They arrive just in the nick of time to stop that from happening.
Here we come to save the day.
They end up kind of getting kidnapped by fish, and they get strung up. And
a nice little parallel to the pilot episode where they were all hung up, like like meat on a hook.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Then Fish makes a deal with Maroni for Falcone's head, but
yeah, that didn't quite work out.
But Maroni is not really respectful.
No, he's basically like one of the Gamergate dudes that.
That's a very nice comparison.
He's just obnoxious as all get out, sexist as all get out. Like
he keeps calling her like honey, babes, and you're gonna be
babes.
my.
No, he calls her babes.
Yeah, babes.
And he's like, oh, I shouldn't call you babes. No, listen, guys, don't call her babes. She hates that. Just totally trying to press her buttons.
Right.
So it's no surprise.
And he says, well, you're going to be my second.
Yeah, she's not cool with that.
No. She wants to be co-leader.
Well, she did say like, okay, as long as that we have peace.
Right.
But then he started copying the tood.
That didn't sit real well.
No, so
she takes him out.
Yeah, and just pulls out a gun. Boom.
Blam.
Right between the eyeballs.
Right. So this is when
and at this point me being a comics fan
Hmm.
is like, okay, so does this mean that I guess Boss Maroni isn't the guy who throws acid in DA Harvey Dent's face and turns him into
Right.
Two-Face? Because
Right.
okay, I guess we're changing some stuff around. So,
I
which
know.
in one way is good because it makes it unpredictable. So
Right.
that's cool. But
Yeah.
I'm like, part of me is just
Well,
a little nervous, like, but he needs to throw the acid. Yeah.
so then a fight breaks out,
Mm-hmm.
and the good guys,
Yeah.
plus the Penguin,
Yeah.
escape.
Yeah.
And Selena and some of Fish's gang recapture them.
Selena's got her new coif. Like it looked very much like Michelle Pfeiffer's coif in
It did.
Batman Returns when she goes to dance with Bruce Wayne. You know, like she's wearing the very ball gown and whatever, or
Yes.
her formal dress, and yeah, she's got her hair all
Her formal
her
catsuit.
hair all asymmetrical over the
Yeah.
yeah
Almost an 80s look.
yeah
Almost.
pushed over to the side, and with a little curl. Which the actress who plays young Selena, Carmen Bicondova, she looks a lot like Michelle Pfeiffer anyway.
She does.
So
Yeah.
this just even more so, in my opinion.
Cemented
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
pretty much.
So this is when Oswald arrives with his rat-a-tat-tat-tat and chases off Fish and allows
Ho ho ho! Now I have a
Commissioner
machine gun.
Detective Gordon and Bullock to escape.
Yep.
Oswald, Mooney, and Butch run to the roof,
Yep.
and Butch cannot figure out
Right.
who he wants
Right.
to go with.
Because if you're going to escape, go upstairs to the roof.
Yeah, brilliant.
Unless you have a helicopter ready there, not a good
Then
plan.
no.
No.
Yep. But of course, Butch, he can't figure out who he wants to go with. He's got a gun, and he's like,
he gets all twitchy. He's like, I'm controlled by penguin. No, I'm controlled by my attraction to fish. Oh no, penguin fish.
Right. But that gives them an opportunity where a fight breaks out, and Oswald ends up throwing Fish off the roof.
But this is after though. Butch shoots both of them. He's like, I can't decide. I'm going to just shoot you both. Bang, bang. You both have gunshot wounds. Yeah. And then Oswald throws Fish over the roof.
So do you think he shoots Oswald
and there was much
foot?
rejoicing.
Yay.
She's gone.
Do you think he shoots him in the foot? That's where I think he shoots him, in the foot.
Shoots Oswald in the foot?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was more like a side
in his hip
gut
okay.
wound. Like it was a non-fatal.
It was enough for him to wrestle around, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't look really hurt.
Unless he was just jacked up on adrenaline when he tossed Fish out.
That was another thing I said too.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
Okay.
All
right.
It's Gotham. You have to maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, and then the ever crazy Barbara is acting weird.
Yeah.
She decides that she's gonna ask Leslie Lee to be her psychiatrist.
Yeah, what's up? Come back to my hot penthouse, and you can listen to me talk about all the horrible things that the ogre did to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
understand. Because we know all about Barbara, don't we?
Right. I know why they did it.
Yeah.
Because they needed to set up that Barbara wanted to take her out, but why would Lee acquiesce to that? Yeah. Right. Why wouldn't she say, no, you need to see a real psychiatrist?
And she even says that. Yeah. She's like, you should go to a real psychiatrist. And she knows that, okay, Barbara's been really messed up. She's obviously got something not quite right going on since that whole affair.
Yeah, go to the hospital.
Yeah, she goes there for some weird reason, and then is surprised when Barbara flips out and tries to kill her.
Right.
I thought, and I would have she offered her tea initially when they got there or something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even drink the tea, man. I'd be like, no, you're like Jim's crazy psycho ex-girlfriend.
No
way.
Insane.
I would never drink that.
Right. And James ends up coming in the door
Mhm.
right as Lee is on top of Barbara and shoving her head down into the floor.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking to myself, this doesn't look good.
She's not dead
No, she's
because
not
we don't
dead.
see
But
blood.
no. I don't think Barbara's dead
She's
at
just
all.
knocked out.
She's knocked out,
Yeah.
but it still doesn't look great.
No, but I got to think though. Barbara's behavior's been erratic,
Yes.
so
I really think that it will turn out that Lee's story will hold up.
yes,
And Barbara's going to end up being crazy and maybe put away in Arkham,
that's what I'm thinking.
turning into a villain of some sort.
Maybe, or just
However,
or just
there
in
is that
Arkham.
niggling part in my brain that says Lee was on top of her
Hmm.
and hurting her really past the point of just knocking her out.
Right.
And it didn't look great when James and the gang walked in.
Now, part of me though, okay, that's fair. I get where you're coming from. My theory is, and this is just my theory, is that okay, they've had from day one. It seems like they have no idea what to do with Barbara.
Right.
So, what better way to write out the character than to have her go crazy at the end, get locked up in
And put her,
and just say, "Oh yeah, she was locked up in Arkham Asylum at the beginning of season 2,
right.
and that's it.
I agree.
We'll never hear from her
I'd be
again,
happy with that.
unless we want to bring
Right.
the actress back for like a guest star appearance."
Right.
That's my guess.
No, I'm good with that. I just it looks weird to me
Yeah,
that she was like hurting her real bad. If they wanted to
and it was
do it where Barbara was crazy and Lee ends up
yeah,
being sympathetic,
yeah.
they could have done it the other way around.
And what a total
Right.
cat fight that was.
Big time.
I mean, just yeah, you had hair pulling, and just
Barbara went nuts.
it was just this like. I mean, even as a guy, I was embarrassed watching that.
I know, right?
It was
And
it wasn't like turn on hot. It was just like,
no,
oh my god, I can't believe this is actually on television.
no, it was like Maury Povich cat fight.
Yeah, exactly. White trash versus white trash. Yeah.
And Barbara was really, really crazy in this.
Hmm.
Does he ever hit you?
Yeah.
I mean, she was
That
really
right there. Yes, that's a good point because that's another thing is like, okay, when she talks about like Gordon hitting you, I was thinking that she was trying to make it look like, okay, Gordon is like beats his women, so you don't want to be with him,
right.
so I can have him.
Show her out the door.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, thanks for the tea, but gotta go. See
Yeah.
ya.
Looks like it's time for me to hit the road.
Beats don't fail me now.
She should do that little Flintstone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, that I'm speechless about that
I
storyline.
know.
I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
How they got there is something that made me kind of go, huh?
It's pure Gotham. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Very campy.
Yes.
In this case. And the other storyline is Bruce digging through everything in his dad's study.
Everything.
Alfred, everything.
Yeah.
Alfred kind of popping in and out saying, I don't know. I've been in here many times.
What are you looking for?
He locked himself in, and Bruce explaining to him that I know there's something in here
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
Dad was hiding because, I got all these. He can't be the man that they said he was.
Right,
And,
right.
he's trying desperately to redeem his father's memory.
Right.
And finally, what Lucius said to him
Mm-hmm.
about being stoic,
Yeah.
he goes to find a book on the shelf about stoicism.
Mm-hmm.
And right in the back of it is a little remote control.
Yep.
That he hits, and this opera music that Bruce has heard when his dad has had the door locked starts up, and
The fireplace goes back, recesses back into the house.
yep.
Eh,
And then ahead of Beethoven.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the 66.
yes, exactly. You're gonna,
But no, steroid.
Yeah, we
down.
don't get the bat phone under the cake dish.
No, we don't. Cake. It was a glass thing.
It's a
It was
cake
dome.
dish. Tell me that's not a
Cake
cake dish.
It is kind of a cake dish. But so the thing opens up, the hidden door opens up, and stairs leading down into
Yeah.
a cave. And what do we get?
Yep.
Bats. What we've been waiting for.
Yep.
Bats.
Yep.
Okay, this was exciting to me.
Right.
Because now we get Bruce Wayne, we get Alfred,
Mm-hmm.
we have Lucius, and now we have the Batcave.
Yeah, it's not quite him falling into the cave like we had hoped, but there's a cave.
And what I'm assuming right now is
Mhm.
this is a room where his father kept evidence.
Yeah. Now, is it just one room? I had this debate at the comic book store today. The Laughing Ogre. So shout out to the guys at Laughing Ogre in
Laughing
Columbus. That we were talking about this, and we were like, well, is it just one room, or is it like a room that has like a secret chamber that leads into the main Batcave? Like
I'm guessing it's just one room.
okay, and he
And
just
at some
he
point
just
he'll dig it
expands it.
out.
He expands it,
Yeah.
knocks a few walls out, and
Yeah.
got it.
His mansion's built into a hill.
Puts
So
up a couple computers and throw pillows and giant dinosaurs with giant pennies and stuff like that.
yeah. And some bead curtains.
Yeah.
Some lava lamps.
Lava lamps. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, right now I just think it's a room. Down there.
It's a fixer-upper.
Yeah. Because his father wouldn't need a big cave, obviously. He just needs a little, like an office, a hidden office.
It's where he keeps it's where he keeps his porn. Oh yeah. I'll see you later, Martha. I gotta go down to the cave for a little while.
I think it just has records and stuff, and he's going to go through that and find a bunch of stuff. And of course, Alfred and Lucius are going to be there to help him. And he's going to have to keep stuff a secret, right? Because, he's going to carry on his grandfather and his father's legacy with Wayne Enterprises. And he's going to be the head of the company. And, he's going to use it as a front to be Batman.
Yes,
and,
stuff.
So, what was your grade?
8 out of 10 remote controls hidden in a book.
Nice.
Thank you.
So you gave it an 8.
I gave it an 8.
That's good.
Yeah, because we're in sync, aren't we?
Yes, because I gave it an 8 as well. 8 fishes sleeping with the fishes.
Nice. I like that. I like that a lot. That was clever.
And I gave it an 8 on a Gotham scale, but you gave it an 8 on a regular scale. So
yeah, we have to explain that. The Gotham scale the bar is set a little lower.
Just a little bit.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. There's the Daredevil scale, and then there's the Gotham scale.
Right. An 8 in Daredevil terms is a real 8.
Yeah.
An 8 in Gotham scale is more like a 6.5, a 7.
And yeah, like an 8 in Daredevil would be like a 10 in Gotham scale.
Right.
Right. Is that fair comparison?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Next
is the Flash. Grodd lives.
The Flash.
The Flash.
Yay. Oh, taunting me again with the Funko figure.
I gives him a kiss.
Do you and the Funko figure want to be alone for a little while?
No.
Okay, just checking.
I don't love him. I give him a kiss on the top of his head.
Okay.
So Grodd lives, and I'm telling you right now,
yeah,
this wasn't my favorite episode of the week, but as far as the actual Grodd is concerned, 10 out of 10.
For a TV budget, that was a pretty darn good CGI gorilla.
Amazing.
So yeah, that was pretty good.
Okay, so Grodd lives.
Yep.
First of all, Clancy.
Yeah, Clancy Brown's back.
He is one of my favorite character actors.
Returning as General Wade Eiling.
Of all time.
Yeah.
And I loved with Highlander.
I loved his Grodd voice in this. When he's in cars, he's in the
well, he's
Star
already
Lab.
got that
When he's in this, I know. So when he's in the Star Lab prison, he's like, I am Grodd. You're all going to die, or whatever he says.
Caitlin, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barry, fly. It was good.
Yeah.
Well, he's already got that voice, so it was great to bring him back.
Yeah.
And also at the end when he says Wells sacrificed him to Grodd.
Yeah.
And that he said, I know you're the Flash. I've known for a long time, but you're going to be useful to me. So
you're only revealing you're taking off your mask to everybody you meet.
right.
How could I not know?
Right. And now that Iris knows,
Yeah.
it's everyone.
Well, we're ahead of that. Yeah.
Well, everyone knows. We're
That's
going to
true.
talk about
Yeah,
in a second.
that's true. Okay.
So,
Yes.
So yeah, we have Grodd. Grodd was an ape that he and Wells were training,
Mm-hmm.
and he of course was hit with the. Are you doing your hair? I was scratching my head. He and Wells were training, and then of course the lightning thing hit.
The lightning thing.
Yeah.
Particle accelerator.
Thank you, that thing.
Yeah, the thing.
And Grodd broke out.
Yeah.
Because he got these super mega human abilities as well.
Right. He started to become intelligent.
Correct.
And evolving.
That was his power.
Yeah.
And evolving.
Right.
Not just intelligent, but super strong,
right.
bigger.
Mm-hmm. Stronger,
everything.
faster.
I can't do the sound. $6
million reference for you.
Yes,
for
that
all
was
you
a
youngins.
$6 million man reference.
Yeah.
I can't do the sound at all, but that was what I was reaching for.
Yeah.
That's not it either. It's more of a metallic sound. That's better. Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah, he's evolving, and he broke out, and he broke out like when the particle accelerator went off.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not terribly concerned. He's just down in the tunnels, and they keep hearing these growls, but they're not really looking for him or anything.
No.
What?
Nope.
Say what?
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely like doing stuff down there.
We had a gorilla, but yeah, he busted it out. We don't know where he went. We're not going to tell animal control or anything.
Nah.
But
we keep hearing these growls down in the sewers and, down in the tunnels of the city.
The bowels.
And
the sewers.
It's the sewers, and people keep going missing, but hey, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been what? 2 years? How long's it been? A year and a half?
It's been a year. Well,
it's been more than that.
No, you're right, because
he was in a coma.
Yeah, we have to go back to like the last part of the previous Arrow season 2. Right. So it would be like, I'd say at this point, maybe 16 months.
Okay, a year and a half.
Yeah.
So it's been a year and a half. Roughly. He's been on the loose.
Mm-hmm.
And people have known. Like, not just a couple people.
Cisco, Caitlin, Professor Well, he's evil, so he's not going to tell anybody.
No, but the army guy, and they could have mobilized.
Yeah. Well,
to get him. Okay, but this was the biggest plot hole, I think.
Rod was on the down low. He wasn't bothering anybody, so...
Really?
Well...
Come on.
I know.
We saw like 5 episodes ago, he just took guys and killed them.
Right.
He's been doing that.
But to be fair, they didn't know that he was doing that. Those guys just vanished. They didn't know, like, it wasn't like Cisco and Caitlin were like going, oh, Grodd must got those guys. No, he didn't even know.
I get that, but people were disappearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did no one look into that?
Well, Barry's got to prove his father innocence. He's got things on his plate.
There were reports of growling things down in the sewers. No one put 2 and 2 together that big growling noises were going.
Maybe they figured it was an alligator. Like when people throw alligators in the sewers.
Yeah, because that's real. I really love when Cisco does his movie references.
Yeah.
And he did Chuds.
Yep.
And he did The Princess Bride.
Right.
ROUSs.
Yep, the ROUSs. That was
Was
nice.
there a third one, or was it just those two?
I can't remember.
Yeah, but I remember those two.
Yeah, those are pretty good ones.
Those are great. So Grodd got loose, and he has these mind control abilities. He controls the army dude.
Yep, Eiling.
Eiling, thank
You're
you.
welcome. All part of
He
the
controls
service.
Eiling. Eiling goes all berserk with the face mask on and all this stuff, and he can project this same thing, and he stops Flash from stopping him.
Right.
And he gets away.
Because Grodd is basically taking over Eiling's body like a puppet.
Right.
And he's controlling it, manipulating it.
Right.
So yeah, so when the Flash is fighting Eiling, he's really fighting Grodd in Eiling's body because Grodd is projecting his mind into Eiling's body.
So in this first scene, that's when he takes the thing for Wells, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he has the thing this whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. So Eiling has it on him when he's in the prison.
Yeah. Presumably.
So Eiling.
Presumably, because they didn't strip him.
Eiling delivers it to Wells?
Maybe, yeah, well, maybe Grodd told him to?
Grodd mind controlled him?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Okay. Well, we know Grodd delivered it.
Yeah.
Because we saw Grodd climb the outside of the building.
Because Wells used Grodd as a distraction, we find out.
Right.
So that he could go do like sneaky reverse Flash stuff.
Right. Okay, so maybe he went and got it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because I mean, he just went down to the holding cells in the accelerator, got the thing, went off to go do his stuff while everybody dealt with Grodd.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right. So, because I couldn't figure out where he ended up getting this key.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was in the blue.
It was a vial.
Yeah.
Of liquid.
I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Blue.
We don't get an explanation of what it did.
It's the blue lava lamp.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grodd is on the rampage. He has these mind control.
Oh, sorry, Archer.
Terms of enrampagement.
Yes.
And when he projects these visions through these mind controls, it's of them doing these experiments on him. And it's of the anguish he suffered.
Injections and all kinds of nasty stuff.
Right, when they experimented on him. So it's definitely a morality tale. That we should not experiment on animals.
Because they could like turn into like mind-controlling supervillains.
Right. But again, it's a trope of telling us we shouldn't experiment on animals.
Right.
Which is definitely,
yeah,
bad people. And although it didn't hit us over the head.
No, it wasn't preachy.
No, it wasn't very preachy. But I did notice they managed to sneak that in to say, oh, bad.
Yeah.
Bad. It will make superhuman apes that will kill you.
Yep. Do we learn nothing from Planet of the Apes, people? Come on.
Right. And I don't mind it. I mean, it's okay. Right. It's a good message to give.
Yeah.
So they end up defeating him by making him this helmet that stops him until Grodd throws him through a wall.
Yeah. Doesn't work quite so well.
No, because Grodd has taken Joe.
Yeah.
And he goes to save Joe.
And Joe got really traumatized by it.
And a couple ribs broken.
Yeah. He was just like, I need to leave now because I'm hurting.
And not just that, but he got mind controlled as well. To put a gun up to his head.
Right, that messed him up.
And so it twisted his mind, and also he was almost going to kill himself. Yeah. So yeah, that would twist you a little bit.
Yep.
So when he goes to save Joe, as he promised Iris he would, he gets thrown through the brick wall, and the only thing that's going to save him from a train running him down is Iris talking into oddly enough, just when Iris finds out that he's the Flash, it's just in time for her to talk him
Well,
down.
that was later. She
From,
walked.
no, I'm just
Yeah, I
saying
know the same episode.
this
Same
episode.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Just in time to talk him through this and make sure that he can pull through and oh, you can fight this Barry.
I've got a few thoughts about Iris. Needless to
Okay,
say.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And also, I still am on that thing about Iris only admits to liking him once he's outed as the Flash, and that really bothers me. Really bothers me.
Yeah.
So I would really like her more if she had admitted it before that.
Yeah. All right.
And so there's that story. The whole thing with Iris being pouty bothers me, and if you want to talk about that, I'll drop it right now.
Well, real quick, because I know we're running long.
Yeah.
So I was just going to talk about, because all right, toward the beginning of the episode, everybody's at Star Labs hanging out, and Iris just walks right in. Like,
how does she know?
Barry's got his mask off. They're just there hanging out.
Right.
Just walks right in. Do they have like no security whatsoever? She just waltzes right in.
I know. And how does she know they'll be there?
Yeah, exactly. So, and she's like,
why hasn't she done that before?
Barry, guess what? I know your secret.
Right.
And then she explains to him, like, oh, yeah, there was like sparkage, and they had the same sparkage when you were in your coma. So I kind of put two and two together, and now I figured out you're the Flash. And, she, then she asked if like Eddie knows the secret, and Barry's like, yeah, he knows, and so does Joe, and so does pretty much everybody but you.
Right.
But then he also Barry tells her that Harrison Wells is his mother's murderer.
Right.
And Joe knew that as well.
He just lets that slip, by the way.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty crappy.
Yep.
He's like, well, we got to fight Wells.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Wells is the Reverse Flash?
And my dad knew about it. And then she gets all huffy and walks out.
Yeah. She is just the poutiest of the pouties.
It's the writers.
I don't like this Iris very much.
It's not the character, it's the writers.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Of this episode, yes. It's not my favorite episode.
I understand.
Grodd saves this episode for me.
Yeah, it was good. So what did you give this episode?
I gave it a 7.5 sets of... Oh, wrong one. Sorry. 7 magical... No, not that one. 7.5 Joe's apeist banana assumptions.
Okay. Yeah.
He tries to hand Grodd a banana, and it's very apist of him.
Yeah, because he figures all apes love bananas.
Right.
And, to quote the Ninth Doctor on Doctor Who, bananas are good. But
they are.
So I guess the Ninth Doctor and Grodd would not get along too well.
No, not so much.
I give this one, I was a little more generous because I just loved seeing Grodd. It was cool. And we got a lot of like, stuff like Iris finally connecting the dots and stuff. So I gave this one 8.5 out of 10 ice cream trucks.
Okay.
Because, they try to move this gold across town in an ice cream truck.
Yeah. I did like the scene where the person comes up to the ice cream truck and tries to buy ice cream. Well, your song is playing. That means we're out.
Yeah. Which is like probably like the go-to response for any ice cream truck guy that doesn't want to deal with kids anymore or is
that means we're out.
Yeah. All right. Next.
iZombie. The 8th episode, Dead Air.
Yep.
Which I think should be the title of this podcast, except not so. Dead Air at the beginning.
Oh, you like that? See, I was going to go with World on Fire.
World on Fire is good.
Because I think World on Fire just is a cool title.
But see, it would be funny if we said not so Dead Air because, we're a podcast.
I understand that.
But whatever. You're in charge of that.
I don't have to be. I'm not, if you want not so Dead Air, I can make it not
That's your job.
Okay. I'm like Cisco. I do the nicknames. No.
Yes, you do. I'm good with that. Okay, so Dead Air.
Yep.
It's the ever-present story of the DJ on air getting killed on air.
Yeah, that's kind of a go-to storyline,
Definitely a go-to storyline.
especially for a show in its first season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she is electrocuted because her microphone
hmm
is hooked up to the wrong thing and power is
Well, it
sent
got
back
it got
with it.
rewired so that it
Right.
became live essentially.
Right.
It became a live microphone. So yeah, it's like yeah.
Which is kind of
Well,
a long shot.
you can do that, but for a radio station
Sure.
it seems odd because you would think to be
Right.
had a little more insulation on that stuff,
There would be.
protection, but yeah.
Yes. And you wouldn't just be able to take the wire and move it over a couple inches and it would be live and ready to electrocute you.
Right.
But hey, I'm picking nits.
It's the magic of TV.
So right then we realized that it's someone who could get into the radio station and kind of knows what they're doing.
Yep.
So it's narrowed a bit, even though they say it's not because anyone could get in.
Yeah.
But we kind of know it's someone
Right.
on the inside.
And yeah, there's like a really squirrely, creepy like girl or woman there that she's kind of like, a little shady anyway, so it's like, I wonder if it's her.
Did you peg her the minute she came on the screen?
Totally. It's like
Me too.
It's like, okay, here's this odd looking
mousy girl with glasses.
Yeah,
It's her.
gotta be.
It's her.
Gotta get her revenge against the pretty girl.
You're right.
Yeah.
The sex therapist.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is so her. It's not funny. As soon as she showed up, I was like, "Yep,
Yep.
you're missing my reaction."
Oh.
One in the Karen column.
Just mark one up there for Karen. Yeah.
Exactly. So yes, it was Mousy. They used to be partners. The sex therapist took over the show. The Mousy woman didn't have talent to be on the air. She ended up being the producer. She sent her tapes all around, and she didn't get any jobs. So...
And even when she finally does get on the air at the end, nobody likes her. They're like trolling her, going, "You suck," and yeah, it's like and stuff like that. Right. Kind of pathetic on the trolling. They could have stepped up their game a little bit, but
yeah, it was pathetic trolling. Yeah. I would have trolled those trolls hard. Yeah. You phone trolls are the worst. Get off. So yeah, it was her. That storyline was a little boring.
So yeah, we can. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it is pretty much it. Now there's Major.
Yeah, Major who is really getting like off the deep end a little bit.
Big time.
Yeah,
big time. He tries to call Liv. But she is getting a foot massage.
Hey now.
And she rejects his phone call.
Swipe.
Yeah. She swipes left. And Major ends up calling Ravi. And just as Ravi is in there, who shows up?
Peyton.
But Liv's
roommate, Peyton.
Roommate Peyton.
Trying to spring Major because she gets all like bitchy with the woman behind the desk and going, "Look, you guys forgot to cross your T's or dot your I's on this form." So,
yeah, I thought that was funny. She says, "You didn't do this, you didn't do that, so you got to let him go now." And she says, "Well, I can do that now." Are you saying you're going to forge this? No.
And Ravi's over in the corner, like looking through children's books, going, "Hey."
Oh, he was doing the puzzles in the children's books, which I love.
But he's just like, "She's dreamy."
I'm in love.
Little hearts above his head.
Right. His eyes were going, "Ooga." So Ravi and Peyton end up chatting. Yep. When Major comes out, because of course they realize,
yeah, by the way, I'm Major's roommate and
I am Liv's boss.
Yep.
And
friend.
Same thing. Yeah. I'm Liv's roommate. Yeah. I am Major's roommate, and so on and so forth. And Ravi insists that this is a moment that they have had. And this is a bit of a sticking point between Ravi and Liv. throughout the episode. Liv doesn't want Ravi to get hurt, although I think some of it is kind of a jealous reaction that she doesn't want Ravi and Peyton to hang out together.
Oh,
I don't think it's all about Ravi getting hurt.
no. Well, it's kind of weird because, all right, she eats the brains of this sex therapist.
Right?
So she's already analyzing everything to death.
Right?
And to the point where Ravi is just annoyed as hell with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at one point, you know, he calls her a bit of an ass and
Mhm.
just, you know, just calls her out for the way because she's trying to like say, look, you know,
You have mommy issues
No,
or
she says Peyton's totally out of your league, dude.
right. So
She
she's
will
something to be conquered.
she will break you.
Right. She's a challenge.
Yeah.
And you want a challenge.
And Ravi's
And
like, let me, you know, let her decide that. You know,
and let me decide
I'm
that.
pretty. I've got a British accent, so
Right. And I'm a doctor.
and I'm a catch.
Right.
So
Right. And this face on top of all that,
Right.
it's just icing on the cake.
I make zombie lab rats. You know, what's not to like?
Right. And he says I'm a big boy. If I want to, you know, take a chance on getting hurt, I'll take a chance on getting hurt. And he made good points. And then she just continues
Mhm.
to say, I can't in all good conscience go ahead with it. And that's when I think she decides she doesn't want them hooking up.
Right.
She doesn't want her worlds colliding. And I'm not quite sure what that is, but anyway, there's that.
She's just still hung up, or maybe there's some underlying attraction to Ravi,
There might be.
or she's just protective of Ravi.
Maybe. I don't think she's that protective of Peyton as far as men go,
no.
because she doesn't seem to care
No,
who Peyton dates or sleeps with.
I think she just knows Peyton because that Peyton just blows through guys.
Yeah, she's a man
She's
eater.
a
big time.
man eater. So maybe she's being protective of Ravi and is like, you know, or for
And there's probably a soupçon of attraction there between Liv
he
and
does have a
and
British accent.
That's true. Cannot resist that. But then so does her boy toy, right?
Right.
Have a bit of an
Yeah,
accent.
lol. So yeah, there's there's Brits all over the place.
Mhm.
Not to mention Blaine, but she's not attracted to Blaine.
No. And she also finds out in this episode that Blaine is bringing Lowell brains.
Brain food. Happy
she
Meal
has-
brains.
Yeah, and she has also taken a bite of Major's friend.
Yeah, that was just like that was a great moment because all right, she's hanging out at Lowell's apartment. And you know, Lowell's like scrambling up some like scrambled eggs and brains or whatever that was on the stove.
Right.
It looked like scrambled eggs.
Bowels and brains.
Yeah, something like that. So like, you know, so Liv's like, that smells good. Takes a little bite, and then she has a vision of Jerome, the kid that was missing,
Right.
which is just like,
She sees his Converse.
oh crap. For one thing, she figures like, oh, something bad happens because she sees like Jerome getting like in the back of a car or something.
Yeah, Blaine's in the front seat.
Yeah.
And he's definitely doing something to him, like about ready to put a bag over his head.
So at this point, she's already freaking about Lowell eating Jerome's brains.
Right.
When all of a sudden she like looks down, she's descending in the elevator.
Oh, hi,
and looks
Blaine.
out the windows like Blaine's coming in the front door going, hey, I got special delivery.
Yep.
And it's like, oh crap, that means Blaine and Lowell. No.
Yeah. And I guess this is when she realizes that Blaine is killing people and selling the brains.
Yeah.
Because she hasn't known that yet, right?
No, she hasn't made that connection.
Right. So she's in on that secret now.
Yeah. So this is kind of good for the overall arc, moving it forward.
Right. And now she also has that connection where she knows a secret that involves Major.
Mm-hmm.
Where she knows that Major's boys were taken by Blaine.
Right.
And she, you know, Blaine, yeah. So Major also says something about brains, and she does not let it on that it
Yeah,
that she
because
believes in.
like looking at like
Pictures
of
of
brains,
half
and his
brains.
girlfriend is like, you're like obsessed with.
Get help.
Yeah, I'm out of here. You're freaky.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm out.
Yep, I'm done.
Yeah.
So, and then she's Major's asking Liv about brains and says, "Oh, I don't think the cultists killed those kids. It was like
Yeah.
there was brains inside the Candyman's car."
Right. And Liv, again, I think through this whole episode, she is doing her best to keep information from people in order to save them, when really she's hurting them. Because in Major's case, what she's doing is keeping information from him that
Feeds his up.
in the end
Feeds his
feeds his
obsession.
obsession.
Yeah.
Right. She is keeping Ravi from Peyton until the very end. And that is kind of, feeding into Ravi's, yearning to get in contact with Peyton. And now it's a buildup.
Well, now she's not doing it deliberately.
No, I know.
It's just,
but
she's just not realizing
it was a pattern in the episode.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah, she's not realizing the ramifications of her behavior.
Right.
Right.
And then so Major again is looking into this stuff, and he's just getting more and more obsessed with finding out who the killer is, and he pretends to Liv that he's gonna let it go, but of course he's not gonna let it go.
Yeah. He goes.
We know that.
Soon as she's gone, he's right back to the computer going.
Yep.
Oh,
type
Google, like,
what are brains used for?
Yeah, Google, don't fail me now.
Yeah. I like that. What are brains used for? Well, duh, to think.
Yep.
What is it going to tell him what our brains use for?
And the answer will come up.
Hey, zombies.
Go watch Hannibal on NBC. No.
Right.
Yeah. No.
So there's those two storylines, and she does end up kind of setting up Peyton and Ravi in the end. And besides the very end, what am I missing?
Really quickly, they had the whole thing with the lab rats. Ravi.
Yeah. Don't.
Okay.
That's the end. What is there? Something else I'm missing?
Well, that wasn't the end. That was the whole thing at the end. Was Blaine walking in with the cooler full of brains.
Yeah. I know, but I'm talking about. Is there something else I'm missing with the episode? I feel like I'm missing.
Let me just scroll. No.
No. Okay. Don't worry about it.
Blaine meets with Clive Superior. The detective guy, or the lieutenant.
Right.
Lieutenant Zombie.
Right.
Yeah.
And the lieutenant actually is the person who moved the boys' bodies into the cultist's house.
Yeah.
And that's how.
Right. And that's how they got rid of the bodies too in the process.
Right. And now we've connected Blaine with the lieutenant. Yeah. And that's how he's not actually paying for brains. He's doing it in order. He's getting brains in exchange for doing Blaine's bidding.
Yes. And he's actually having a little bit of a problem with it too.
Yeah, he's not very happy about it.
He's giving some attitude, so maybe there will be some friction later on.
I'm assuming, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's the lab rats, and they say something about the day shift not being happy, or the night shift not being happy about the other room being locked, and they can't get into it. But too bad, because that's where the lab rats are being experimented on for the zombie experiment.
Right.
And as they go in, all the lab rats have their brains missing.
Yep. And because
all
the cages have been like ripped open.
And they find one lab rat.
Little white lab rat.
Who has been turned into a zombie lab rat. And Ravi is terrified by this, and Liv picks him up and pets him.
Ravi gets all girly and hops up on the thing and
Yeah. Well,
I don't.
Can you blame him?
No. Because you're like, I don't want to be bit by a zombie lab rat.
Right. Which is a bit prophetic.
Yeah.
But, it's not going to bite Liv, because zombie brains aren't good to eat.
She's just like, oh, he's adorable. He's adorable. Yeah. He's just like, oh, he's so cute, little zombie rat. Aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the foreshadowing was strong with this one
Mhm.
because
Nice.
through this whole thank you, Star Wars reference. Through the whole episode, Ravi is devising stronger and stronger ways to keep this rat from getting out. Even just in the background, without saying anything, he is building a very strong cage without saying anything.
Mhm.
He actually says something about the chainmail gloves. And he does this thing where he pokes the knife in and then he pretends that the knife has gotten through the gloves,
Right.
but it hasn't.
Mhm.
And then we see a little bit later that he's fiddling with the cage and he's got the gloves on in it. And then right at the end of the episode, or near the end, before the Blaine part,
Yep.
the rat bites him
Don't.
and he has a cut on his hand from the rat.
Dun
So
dun dun.
what will happen there?
To be continued. Cliffhanger. Yeah. There you go.
So what do you give this
That's cutting in and out too.
one? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I give this one 7.5 out of 10 brain coolers.
Nice.
Thank you.
I give it 7 magical invisible headphones because
Mhm.
the second woman, the killer,
Yeah.
when she is talking on the microphone at the end, has no headphones on.
Maybe they were like earpieces that she stuck under her.
No,
Okay.
no cords,
Okay.
nothing.
All right. Well, yeah. A little bit of an error.
Can't hand wave.
Yep.
That one.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
220 stars.
Now, am I going to run through this since...
Yeah.
Okay, we'll run through this quickly.
Breeze through it.
All right, Scars.
Scars.
Scars. We opened up 1 year ago with Agent Koenig, one of them at least, played by Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt returning again, and he's in bed with Star Wars sheets, and not just Star Wars sheets. The very first Star Wars sheets that they came out with for bed sheets, the
Ewoks.
No. These are no.
R2D2 and
These are ones that came out in 1978. I know this because I had those sheets. They came like Star Wars became big, and so like they rushed the stuff into the stores, like at Sears or something. You probably got it out of a Sears catalog because everybody got stuff out of Sears catalog back then. And it's just I saw those sheets and I just like sudden flashback to like 8-year-old Charles like decked out or like in bed with those sheets, and so I was just like I was just loving that. Nice flashback. But Koenig also reveals, I mean, it's kind of anticlimactic for anybody that's seen the Avengers Age of Ultron, but he reveals that the Theta Protocol is in fact they're building a brand new helicarrier that's going to come and save the day.
Right.
Which it does.
Here I come to save the day.
Exactly. We had later on in the episode we had Coulson talking to Gonzalez, trying to explain that okay, he and Nick Fury needed something off the books, which is why they were building the helicarrier in secret. Coulson suggests, hey, why don't we just merge these two shields instead of fighting each other? Because obviously.
Right.
We had Raina, everybody's favorite porcupine girl. Psychic porcupine girl, I guess. Telling Gordon of this giant stone that's suddenly like an ocean crashing against the shore.
That's right.
Because
the Kree weapon.
Yeah, because she just can't say there's like a Kree weapon that looks like a giant stone. Right. I don't know. Jai.
She's emo.
Yep. Jai-Ying, Sky's mom, says that the Stone Kree artifact is designed to destroy Inhumans. And she sends Raina and Gordon, go find that. Go get it. So they do that. Mac, meanwhile, Big Mac, tells Coulson, I'm out of here because I can't trust you. I
quit.
He's like, I'm done because you were brought back with alien blood and I'm not working for no guy with alien blood.
Right.
So that's not cool.
Rude.
Yeah, not cool, Mac.
Right.
Yeah, they dial that.
I agree.
Dial that one back.
Dial
it back, Mac.
Yep.
That was a Big Mac attack. Cal tells Jiaying that you can't let S.H.I.E.L.D. come to Afterlife. You can't trust them. But
Oh, she's got her own
yeah,
plans.
she's got her
so-
own plans. So, but Cal decides, okay, well, guess what? You could just turn me over to S.H.I.E.L.D. as a good faith gesture.
Yeah.
I guess. You know,
He's got his own
he's got
plans.
plans too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Meanwhile, disguised as Agent May, Kara
Yeah.
/ Agent 33,
/ Maya Sturgeon.
yeah, dukes it out with Bobby, Mockingbird. They get in
That's
they get a
right.
nice little fight. Mockingbird knocks her out.
Yeah,
But you know, like the fight's all done. This was inside a Quinjet lands. Bobby walks out and doesn't realize that Ward's behind her, and Ward shoots her.
Yep.
But
Sigh, Ward.
yeah. Ward being Ward, not cool.
But still.
Yes. It's
Damn it, Ward.
Ward shakes
Can't you just be a good guy?
shakes fist. Yeah.
So apparently they're going to go off and be Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just the gangsters of love. I don't know. Jiaying and Sky accuse Reina of manipulating them. Reina's like, no, 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 I'm not manipulating you. I'm trying to save you. Because I'm so trustworthy.
Right. Not.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Gonzalez meets with Jiaying in her office and is like, yeah, that doesn't go too well, does it?
No.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, I've got this medallion that you were going to give your daughter Sky. So here, you can give it to her now that we found. But, oh, by the way, we want to index all the Inhumans.
Right. And this is the first episode where they actually used the word Inhuman, right?
I don't know if it was the first one. I think they did it the previous episode, but this one got a lot of play in this episode.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know if it's the official first mention. And the last big thing is we have this kind of, that whole meeting goes completely horribly wrong.
Right. Pear-shaped.
Yeah, it goes tits up.
Yep.
Jiaying.
R.I.P. Gonzalez.
Yeah. Jiaying shows Gonzalez this lovely, shiny new Terrigen crystal. And shatters it right in front of him, which of course the Terrigen gas escapes, calcifies Gonzalez into like a little looking like one of those people that were in the volcano eruption of Pompeii back in the day.
Vesuvius.
Yeah, Vesuvius eruption. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
that I remember. That's long.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Admiral Adama.
Yep.
Sorry, you're dead. / Gonzalez, but you're really Admiral Adama because you'll always be Admiral Adama. So yeah, he's done. He's off the board. Jiaying takes his gun and guess what? Takes 2 to the shoulder from her own hand and is like, oh, yeah. By the way, guys, he shot me.
Self-defense.
He shot me. S.H.I.E.L.D. is bad.
You shot me, you a-holes.
Exactly. You killed.
Second Austin Powers reference of the evening.
But yeah, she's like, S.H.I.E.L.D. bad, fire or tree pretty, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But she's like, this is war.
Yeah, she had her agenda happening.
Yeah, so basically, Jiaying has turned out to be a major jerk, and is trying to start a war with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and that's going to put a bit of a rift between her and Sky.
Just a wee bit, as we find out in the 2-part season finale.
Shush! I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, that's it. So, what did you give this episode?
I gave it, and you ruined it,
I did.
7.5 sets of Star Wars sheets.
That's awesome.
It's okay, though.
That's okay. You got the Star Wars sheets.
Yeah.
I gave it 8.5 out of 10 Terrigen crystals.
Very nice.
So,
By the way, Patton Oswalt is from my neck of the woods. I live just around the corner from the movie theater where he used to work
okay.
in high school.
All right. So, lastly, got to wrap this up.
Arrow.
Yeah.
This is your sword.
Yep.
And every time I see this, the name of this, I think, this is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for fighting. This is for fun.
Nice.
So in this episode,
Yeah.
we have one storyline, which is sorry.
Well, we got
to pull it up on the screen
We started off with Roz telling Oliver that he must destroy Starling City if you want to become the next Roz.
Thank you. And you must marry my daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
So there's all that, and he's all, robotic, like normal, and he's agreeing to everything.
I am Al-Sahim.
Right. And of course, Nissa is not liking it one bit. She is saying to him, I don't want to marry him. And Ross is saying, well, you have to. Too bad. And you're going to bear me a child. And this is what I have speculated. And I think you speculated with me that that's what we thought was going to happen is he wanted a son. And this was the only way he was going to get it, was to have someone marry Nissa and carry on the name. So, son of demon.
And apparently Nissa has like absolutely no say in the matter. No more than her mother did back in the day. So,
right.
So,
and this is essentially what Ross said is, I met this woman and I married her and done.
Yeah.
And we had you.
And Oliver's like, well, I guess I can't deal with this right now. I've got a lot on my plate. I'm going for a walk.
Yeah. I gotta go. Fresh air.
Yeah. Because that won't be at all suspicious.
Right. So that starts off that storyline. But then, of course, back in Starling City, we have some patrol action happening. Diggle is following these gang members around, and they're like, we brought you back to our lair. And Diggle goes, yeah, good plan. And he's like, yeah, good plan. Right, because it's my plan. And he puts these little ear things in, and Laurel comes up, and she uses her little cry.
Right.
And everyone falls down on the ground, and Diggle goes nuts.
Yeah.
And ends up kind of beating this guy to a pulp.
Just wailing on this dude.
Right. Yeah. And they realize, it's definitely transference. That he's taking out the fact that, Oliver, his best friend in the world, kidnapped his wife, and there's all that. So they're not going to resolve that issue. They decide that they're going to try and go after him because Merlin goes to them and says, he's
faking.
He's got a long game going on. But
he's pretending.
But he needs us to go over because there's accelerated things happening.
Yep.
So he says, I have this ace in my pocket. And who does he bring out?
Yes.
Katana.
Tatsu Yamashiro.
That's right. And she has her katana.
Yes.
And she got her little mask and everything.
Yeah, she's got her new 52 costume mask and
love it.
Looking all badass.
Love it.
I'm so happy. I'm a huge Katana fan, and I was so happy. Like, she's finally got the costume on. Yes, bring it.
I love it. And one of the things I really loved in this, I love when they bring in other parts of the DC universe, and they went to Ferris Air.
Yes.
And of course, we know that that's Hal Jordan's
girlfriend. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but where he flies from,
right.
As a test pilot, Ferris Air. So it was awesome to see that they went there to get their flight.
Yep.
And I just love that, Ferris Air, and only hardcore people are gonna realize that that's
Yeah, it's a nice
green line,
nice little in joke, or not reference, not really joke, but
Easter egg.
Yeah, Easter egg. Thank you.
So they go over there. They
and the Parbat.
On the Parbat. And I love how Felicity thinks they should get horses because she doesn't like walking. She's gonna remote control the jet. She gets to the jet.
That's a big fail.
Yeah. She gets to the jet and she manages to control it a little bit, but she's got an ace in her pocket, which is Ray.
Right.
And Ray
swoops in.
Has to fly through the plane.
Iron Adam to the rescue.
Right, Iron Adam, which lands him on the ground pretty much with his suit in tatters yet again.
Yeah, he's not good at this flying thing. You should cut that out.
No.
Cut that out.
No. And of course, this was a red herring. Roz does still have the Alpha Omega stuff.
Bioweapon.
Right.
Just called bioweapon.
So they end up getting taken, and even though Oliver says, "Trust me," he can't really follow through on that promise.
Yep.
They end up getting locked up,
in a
and he
dungeon.
has to throw.
Yep.
He has to throw the bioweapon in there.
Yep.
Their little storyline.
They do take Katana out before he throws
Right,
it in.
right. Well, because she's already
Yeah.
been inoculated, so there's no use keeping her. They're going to kill her some other way, apparently.
Yeah.
Because just keeping her in there wouldn't do anything, and it could allow for them to escape.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's why they took her out. And they throw the bioweapon in there to kill all of them.
Yep.
And when he walks away, I think he winks.
Yeah. He's like, trust
Like he's gonna
trust
come
me.
back.
Trust me.
He's going to come back and do something. It's a very quick thing.
Yep.
And Katana, before they get taken, has to kill her husband, Maseo.
They have a big showdown during this the massive fight after everybody gets there and end up Parbat. And Tatsu fights her husband Maseo. It's kind of a final showdown. She kills him. Even though he presses the advantage, he has the advantage over her. But then
but they talk about their son,
and then she stabs him with the Soul Taker, and presumably the Soul Taker, and then
she mentions that it's the sword that's passed down through her family.
And then he thanks her for releasing him.
Yeah.
So it's very sad. You're you just oh, tears.
I know.
The feels.
I know. All the feels. Yeah. I would have liked it to be a more epic fight, to be honest. They're both master swordsmen. So, yeah. But still, whatever. So, he's dead.
Mm-hmm. So, bye, Maseo. Bye, Akio. Bye, everybody. Yep.
Okay, so there's that.
And Oliver and Nyssa marry.
Oliver and Nyssa get married. Not before Nyssa pulls her knife, which she's hiding, and Oliver's quick enough to block it.
He's like, no.
Right, and he says, "Continue." He is cold as ice.
There is no Oliver, only Al-Sahi.
Only Zool. Yeah, I'm the keymaster. Yep. So there's that, and then the other storyline involves Thea going to see
Jason, quote unquote.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his fake name.
Jason Todd.
And she says that she's no. Oh, please, no, thank you. And of course it's her ex
Roy,
who's hiding. Roy. Yep. And she says she has a car for him to look at. Wink, wink. Yeah. Can we go somewhere and talk about it? Well, how about my place? So they go back to his place, and they kind of reconcile a bit.
She gives him his costume back.
That's right. Yeah. And it's the red hoodie costume, and
then they have sex.
Big time. Bow chick bow wow. And in having the sexing, she tells him that she's going to go with him wherever he decides to go, and he ends up leaving. And I'm assuming moving on without her knowing where he's going to go, and leaving her the costume, the Speedy costume now, and saying, you have to live up to what you want to be. I can't hold you back. And there's that. So we're left hanging ready for tonight's episode.
Yeah, which is starting right
which is
now.
airing as we speak. So, what did you give this one?
I give this one 8 out of 10 bloody katanas.
Nice. I gave it 7.5, 67 Mustangs.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess that wraps it up.
It does.
All right.
So
Yep.
let's give our information, feedback, info. Twitter,
Yep.
we're at the Fandom Zone Cast. I am at Oliveria. He is Charles Skaggs on Twitter.
At Charles Skaggs on Twitter. Yep.
Right. And I have an About Me link in my bio on Twitter. And you can reach Charles where?
I'm on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Google.
Instagram.
I'm on
And
Google Plus for all you crazy
all
kids
you crazy
on
kids
the Google
on the
Plus.
Google Plus. I love it. And he has this blog, which is Damn Good Coffee and Hot.
Yep, fall full of geeky things, including lots of new television show news, which sadly we're running out of time to talk about, but we will cover next time.
That's right. And you can talk to us on Facebook. That is facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast. And then our email, which is fandomzonecast@gmail.com. So there we go, everyone. And we are about to head out. So thank you for joining us. And we will talk to you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.